everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and the craft/dining room. Didn't you just wear this outfit? Yes, I did. And why? Because I love it. It's appropriate. But I also designed some more Halloween products, and I'm going to share them with another installment of Basic to Brilliant. I have one really simple card and one not so simple card, both featuring the cutest little ghost die cut you ever did see. Who's a cute die cut? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. My Basic to Brilliant Halloween cards are coming up next. I love how it fits me. Seriously, it fits every year. So here's a look at the two cards I'll be creating today. Now the one on the left, obviously, is the basic one. The one on the right, well, that's the so-called brilliant one. Both simple designs, one just a little more involved than the other. So let's pop in and take a look at the supplies. The basic supplies, the ghost in the circle, and come on, it's adorable. It really is adorable. But this little guy is going to add the flavor to our card project today. And then I'm going to use sentiment strips for the greeting, in essence. These are so basic, pre-printed, you cut them apart, good to go. I'm also going to use some pattern paper from My Favorite Things, and I will put a card up in the upper right to show you another project that I did featuring some of this paper. I like to show people how to use pattern paper when I can. All right, so those are the basic supplies. Let's start making the first card. My cardstock today is from Gina Designs. This is the Plum Punch, great purple color. I'm scoring it, but I'm not going to fold it because I want to die cut my ghost first. So I'm going to place this down onto the platform of my die cut machine. Try not to shift it and go ahead and run that through to cut out a little ghost window. I'm not going to use it as a window, but that's where we're starting. This is a single layer card too, so that also makes it a little more basic and a little bit easier to do. I'm also going to cut out some white eyes from some scrap cardstock, and I'll do the same with a little scrap of black cardstock as well, so that I can fill in my little ghost's eyes and mouth. Thought it would be cute to have the eyes be in white and the mouth in black. Now it's time, oh my gosh, so I was so distracted by this. I had lotion on my hands before doing this video, and you're gonna see what happens. Well, for now, it's time to pick the background to go behind my ghost. And I love this pad. I keep all of the scraps together, and I just kind of started flipping through and I realized I like the candy. So I decided I was gonna cut the piece to fit right behind the window. Thought that would be nice. And I tried to erase over however I got lotion or oil. I actually think it might have been oil. I'm not sure, but it wouldn't erase. And I had to redo it. I couldn't function, so I recut a panel. I will use that cardstock somewhere else, but the oil, that was bugging. So I made those little pencil marks. I didn't really need to, but I just wanted to know where's the paper gonna go, added my adhesive, covered it up, wiped away the extra dot runner, folded this down. How cute is that? So much better without the blob of oil. And you know that's going to happen sometimes. Sometimes you're going to lotion up your hands right before you film a craft video or work on a project, and then it's going to turn into an oily mess. So learn from my mistakes. But a simple bit of adhesive inside the mouth, and we'll pop in his ghostly smile, and we'll do the same for the eyes. But you can see how just that little bit of extra cardstock just kind of makes it pop. And the patterned paper in the background, super cute. So this is very basic, right? You can do this. Now, the next easy part is adding my sentiment to the card. And I thought, well, I'm going to cut out You're the Ghost with the Most. I'm going to grab one of my Simon sentiment labels. These are wonderful because they will cut out your sentiment strips and all the other strips will be fine. You can put them right back into whatever package you keep them in. But I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to bring it to my paper trimmer, and I wanted to get a little closer to the edge of the outermost letters because I knew I'm going to cut this in half and it's going to be a little tighter than I would normally cut it, but that's okay. I'm going to stick the T as close as I can get it and snip. Now it looks like it's a little close to the edge, but that's okay because I'm going to take my Copic marker, this is a Copic T10, And I'm just going to go over the edge because you can see the sentiment strips are printed on a white cardstock. And I just like to cover it up so it gives it that look of being on black cardstock. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of dimension to pop up my sentiment here. And I like to take my thin foam squares. I love the thin because, well, they're thin, they're not too bulky. Cut them apart, pick up a square. Well, it's now half a square actually, it's a tiny rectangle, but pick it up with the craft pick. The craft pick is the fingertip that you need in small spaces. Ah, love it. And now I can pop up my greeting. I thought it would be cute to be at a little angle like that, so it's kind of, right at the base of the circle, and then tilting this one. I normally don't tilt things, but honestly, this is master tilting. I'm just going to say it. Basic and appropriate. But that's the finished card, the basic one. I think this is super cute. Let's move on. Card number 2. Now we're going to get a little more ambitious, but we're starting out the same. I'm die cutting in a very specific location because I'm going to create a shaker card. But now I want to show you something. Sometimes, and I don't know if it was the humidity, but my black cardstock wasn't cutting that well. And if that ever happens to you, take your mono sand eraser and just, sand it down. Sand down any rough edges. Look at all that. Look at all that came off. And if you can't get into a tiny space, here's another tip. I use pen blades for a lot of things. I've actually had these for years. They don't really cut that well, but they are great for getting into a small die cut that maybe didn't cut as well as you'd hoped and just sort of filing away. So pen blades, great for so many things, and this is one of them. Okay, looking good. I'm bringing in a die to frame out exactly how I want this cut, and I wanted the space above the ghost and to the right to be about the same. And then I took a few cardstock strips, again in our lovely Halloween triadic color scheme, to adhere to the corner of this design. So just putting down my purple, my green, and that's Plum Punch, I think that's Jelly Bean Green, and Sweet Mango from Gina K Designs. I'm going to frame that out, and then I'm going to run this through the die cut machine so that it gives me a perfect cut with those little strips already in place. And after I cut it, it looks pretty good. Again, my black cardstock wasn't really behaving the way I'd hoped. It was a little frayed at the bottom, so I just took my mono sand eraser and removed it. Next, I took a piece of acetate. This is just some, I think it's called Duralex. I'm not even sure. I just had it laying around, but it's going to work to create my window for my shaker. So I'm just cutting a piece to size. I'm going to add dot runner to the back of the panel and just kind of get it in there. I put a little bit on the ghost too, just to hold that to the plastic, and just pressing it down, making sure that's stuck down really well. And that is my window. That's going to keep all my sequins from flying out into the ether. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to add in eyes and a mouth, same thing, just dot in a little liquid glue. And I thought this one would be cute with the little white cardstock insets for the eyes and the mouth. That way, he's good to go. All right, shaker window commenced. I'm popping up a little sentiment strip that says, "I love you so much, it's scary." And I did go ahead and color in the sides of that as well to make it look like it has been printed on black cardstock. And then I'll just take this to my paper trimmer and trim those off. Give it a little cut, flip it, and give it another little cut. I always kind of push it until I can feel the edge of the cardstock right on my finger, and then I do remove my finger in time. Back to the pattern paper, and time to choose a little background for the shaker window. Honestly, any paper would have been great with this, but as I started flipping through, I thought, well, that's too low contrast. Blue would have been cute. And then I'm like, there's one more piece of the candy. Yeah, we're sticking with the candy. So next I wanted to create the back for the actual shaker, right? So I took a die from the same set that was just a little bit smaller and went ahead and cut out a piece of white cardstock. I used 80-pound Neenah Solar White. And I added a few pencil marks, not that I needed them, to that piece of paper, just so that I knew if you place your paper here, it's going to show up fine in the window. I really didn't run a risk here, but you know, the anal retentive card maker in me did it. But I knew this was going to work, right? That's lined up, and you can see it's just a little bit smaller, right? Just a little smaller. And now we're going to create the shaker itself. So take a piece of foam tape, double it back on itself like this. Just fold it together. Super easy to do. And the cool thing is, when you fold it together, this place where they come together, right, the inside, that isn't sticky. That's not the sticky side. And so that's the side that you want to be facing in to your well of sequins, if you will. The great thing about doing this, when you have like a shape that isn't square, you just work your way around the shape with your doubled up foam, right? No more cutting and stacking, right? Just do it in one fell swoop. It's sticky, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I had to speed it up, because my fingers kept sticking. But get it all the way to the end, grab your scissors, you know, snip it, and then just kind of wedge it into the best of your ability just to keep the sequins in place, and that'll work. And then just fill in the rest of the panel. At least this is how I like to do it, right? You're gonna fill in the rest of the foam tape. I had to grab one more piece just to create a complete panel because I want the whole thing to pop up. So that is in place. There's the backer. Now time to grab my sequins. So I'm just gonna sprinkle in, this is some Gina clear quartz. This is a cute little confetti. I didn't want too much color going on, right? Because the card already has my triadic color scheme. The triadic scheme of purple, orange, and green is also in the pattern paper. So I thought, you know, silver sequins, you can never go wrong. I'm popping that onto the foam and pressing it down. And now, I have my shaker element. Every time I make one, I think to myself, I can't believe I never knew how to do this prior to becoming a card maker. It's so fun. Shakers are fun. All right, now I'm going to add this whole piece to my card base. And the card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So again, a USA 2. Just layer on a nice thin application of the liquid glue. And then once that's all covered, pop that onto the card base, wiggle it into position with that beautiful framing margin space. And that, my friends, is the brilliant card. Well, again, is it brilliant? I don't know. It's still very, very simple, right? That is not a fancy design, but the shaker element does step it up. I'm going to say it. I love this card so much, it's scary. And there they are, side by side. Again, both very simple designs, right? Not too complicated. One just has a little bit more going on than the other. But I think the ghost die could be used for a lot of different ideas, not just cards. It really is kind of adorable. And there they are. Basic to brilliant. Well, I don't know if it's brilliant, but you know, shaker cards, so much fun. Who's a good die cut? Who's a good die cut? Thanks so much for watching today. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. And if you do subscribe, be sure to hit the gray bell below the video so that you don't miss the next time I post. Here are a couple other videos that you might be interested in watching. Thanks so much and have a great day.